right, and there we go. We are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pastrami Nation podcast. My name is Nolan Smith, and joining me today, we have a whole host of characters. So first off, let's start with the usual suspects. We have fellow co-founder of Pastrami Nation, Jason.
Hi, everyone.
We have our entertainment editor, Mr. Kevin Hoskinson.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We have with the awesome toy room, Christian.
What's up, guys?
And we have longtime staple of Pastrami Nation, Daniel Schwartz.
Hey, good to be here.
And we do have a special guest today. We have the president of Panda Mony Toys. We have Ryan Magnon. Welcome, sir.
That's me. Thank you. Glad to be in the Pastrami Nation.
We're excited to have you here. Before we jump in, as always, everybody, drop your comments. Comments are how you are entered to win a Pastrami Nation combo from Apollo Burger here in Victorville. If you haven't tried it, it's just, meaty goodness. Make sure to just drop a comment. You have all the way until Sunday to drop that comment, and then we'll do a live, let you know who won. But we have two big things we're talking about today. Of course, second half, we're talking about the movie that's probably on everybody's mind, which is The Suicide Squad. But first up, we're going to talk about an awesome Kickstarter, which is why we have Ryan here. So let's talk about Alternation and Panda Mony Toys. So first off, I see we have some comments already. Jason Bean's like, hey there. And Jason Bean is just awesome. I mean, he's been such a supporter of us. And I actually learned about Alternation last year through Jason Bean. So really appreciate him, introducing me to it, because just like everybody on this podcast, we all love action figures. So if you haven't heard of them, well, you're about to hear of them. So first, sir, if you could tell us about Panda Mony Toys and, of course, your lineup of Alternation.
Sure. Yeah. So we started Panda Mony just as a sort of a pushback against all the, the reboots and the sequels that were just kind of just the reboots and the sequels. It was kind of, I was in the toy aisle of Toys R Us when that was still around, and everything on the aisle was something that was 50, 60 years old, or maybe Power Rangers or something was more recent, but still it felt kind of sad that kids didn't get the stuff that we had as a kid, where there was always something new, like Masters of the Universe and like Ninja Turtles and Thundercats. All that stuff was just kind of like coming out every week. There was always something fresh, it seemed like, back then, and that hasn't really been done in a while. So that was really the kind of the inspiration point behind it. The inspiration point, that sounds dirty, but anyway, that was where the brainchild came from, and just figuring that at some point this sort of like license everything sort of trend would just eventually stop, and people would be looking for something fresh. And then we did Alternation first, because we did a lot of testing with kids, thinking that they're going to be the ones to drive it. That maybe people our age are happy with Ninja Turtles and Batman and things like that. That was what we grew up with, and we like it, and forget all that new stuff. So we were trying to really focus on kids, and it turns out, we ended up getting a big cross section of adult collectors too. So, but anyway, the kids were the ones that really helped us pick out the concept we went with, which was Alternation, and the story behind it and characters we ended up using. And then Jason came along, and he's also been, I had to also say hi to Jason, and thank you for being a great fan. He's always really spreading the word about it.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing. Now, these things, I don't know if anybody's had a chance to see these in person, but these are super cool. So I have the first series. This is Dart, which to me, he's the coolest looking, which is hard to say because they all look really awesome. But I mean, he's a big red frog. How could you not like him? And there's a story that goes along with this. So in here, you have a free graphic novel when you go there. And I frequent the Dark Horse app, and it's also on the Dark Horse app. So there's a whole story that goes with this. First wave is out. 2 reviews are up on Pastrami Nation from last year. More reviews are going up this week. But this was just the start, because on the back it has look for phase 2. And that's where we're at right now, right? Phase 2?
That is right. That's where we're at. We released the brand Christmas 2019. Yeah. And then right after that, we had bought extra inventory thinking, okay, we're doing conventions and we're going to have a lot of, comic shop retailers that we're going to target. And then everything closed. So we had to sit on that inventory for a while. But, now that we're kind of getting our bearings again, we said, well, what can we do to kind of, it's kind of risky still. It's still, nothing's really open yet. The conventions and things are still kind of shaky and whatnot. So we thought a Kickstarter would be a way to kind of mitigate a lot of that risk and still let the fans bring more characters out if they want to.
Right, and you have 2 characters for this
Correct.
phase.
We have 2 action figures, and then the stretch goals are mini figurines that act as accessories to the main characters. So kind of like if you remember Ninja Turtles had, there was a few characters like Muckman and Wingnut. They had a little mini character that came with them. Yeah, a little sidekick that attached to them.
Oh, nice.
So we took that same idea and then actually gave the sidekicks decoration. The idea was that these would come out as blind boxes and be army builders as a sort of secondary thing. So you could get multiple ones and not be like, oh man, I already got that one, because in the story they're a species. They're not just like one character. So that was the idea behind it. And they're called Mutts. There's taking again nods from the 80s toys. The Mutts is an acronym. So
Sweet.
Yeah, you got to do the acronym.
Oh, yeah.
You have to. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'll let everybody else jump in and ask questions, because I know people are just waiting to ask about Panda Mony.
Yeah. So Jason said it in the comments. They're not just action figures, but there is a well thought out PG story with comics and web episodes. I saw that on your website, and that's awesome because you mentioned Ninja Turtles, He-Man, and that stuff. So it is kind of like that like full blitz of like supporting the action figures with story, so children can associate the story with the action figures that they're playing with. It's also obviously I think interesting that you bring up that the kids are like the big part of like the success that you guys are finding. I that's the first thing I thought of, right? Like, because we all kind of, at least I assume we all grew up with that like those toys and those comics. So for me it's like it's a breath of fresh air to see what you guys are doing. But like, do you find it more difficult in this day of age, not just like with the COVID, but just like you have the advancement of the internet, but now obviously things are a little bit more difficult? But like the process of getting the comics together, the process of getting the show produced, like how is all that?
It's been, that honestly has been a struggle. So there's a few things to consider if anybody watching is interested in going into toys. There are fewer retailers now. When we started, Toys R Us was still around, and we thought that might be an outlet. And before we even got to production, they were gone. Of course, KB's gone. All those brands, all those stores, that were around when we were kids might have given a new brand a chance. Nowadays, it's very consolidated, and I think that's why a lot of salespeople and that sort of like that's part of the industry don't really like to take chances, and you do end up with a lot of like, oh well, I've seen that license, I will buy the consumer goods for it, rather than, hey, is this a fun product? So that's one challenge. And then the second side of that was like, well, cool, we'll just find a partner to make a cartoon out of it. We've got all the story material here, but it's the same sort of thing. That's like there are fewer and fewer outlets to even broadcast something now too. So a lot of that stuff, it's gotten a little better with streaming and such, but we shop the series around, and then like once you've hit like the big names, it gets harder and harder to sell it. So
right.
So yeah, it's all that. But so what we did with that was like, well, we're not going to let that stop us, and we're just going to keep. We can still make toys. We can still make comics. We can still make short story. We do illustrated stories for kids. We'll be putting out our own books that way for kids. And that's just always been my attitude. It's like I don't like let people tell me no. I just keep going. Like, okay, I'll find another way to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're great looking figures. They're awesome. Dart like is the coolest one that caught my eye, and like I saw Nolan had it earlier.
Yeah.
Like I love the designs that you guys are working out because you have like so many cool archetypes with everything. What was like you said you guys did like some tests with kids and with fans about like how did that work out? Like
so we tend to just we come up with the sort of seed of the idea and then run it past group and then refine it and then run it past another group and so on. And with like all the characters, Dart, even the characters we haven't released yet, we would sort of just give kids this option, like, hey, what do you think of this character's ability and this character's ability or whatever, and then we would draw a concept piece, and they actually gave us feedback through the whole process. So
that's
not just cool. from just basic text story to concept art, they were giving us feedback and also as well, I should say, as the on the product features, they were telling us, oh, we like projectiles more than, the sound or something. So there was all that. And again, that was just, to like, we knew that we were going to be facing an uphill battle going into this, like being the unknown brand. So we just wanted to, sort of mitigate that as much as possible. What could we do to make sure this thing sells and this thing is fun just on its own merit? So, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, I had a question. So I was looking at your website, and I have to say I really like your alpha on phase 2. He's really cool looking.
Thank you.
But I just say, do you have? I saw there's a bunch of artwork that went with all the characters and everything. Where did you get that artwork? Because that artwork is amazing. That's something I think people would want to look at too.
Yes.
Is it the general kind of like the really? I mean, we had a few artists on it. I'm guessing you're talking about kind of that vector art, that kind of poster look.
Yeah.
We had a guy named Larry Christmas out of I forget where he's out of. I think he's East Coast somewhere. But yeah, he ended up doing that all in vector for us, so that was really cool. Came in handy because. We could use it for anything. We can blow it up to 10 feet tall if we wanted to. So,
That's a good selling point.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thanks.
Really cool. I mean, like, here's the thing. When I was a kid, and probably till this day, I'll buy a toy if it looks cool, right? Like, I don't necessarily need to know. I mean, obviously, I'm still hunting down the toys that I wanted when I was a kid. Like, I think that's the whole nostalgia thing. But, like I still will I'll buy like Fortnite toys because they look cool. I don't know anything about Fortnite, but you know what I mean. Like you guys have that advantage of having gorgeous like characters.
Thank you.
So, I don't know. I think that's.
I was the same way. Yeah, like I remember the Ninja Turtles. I always go back to that, and you can probably see some of that in the characters.
Yeah.
But remember, like they had so many characters that weren't even on the show, or in any comics. It's like I think I heard the story behind that was that they didn't realize that it would be as popular as it was, so they were like scrambling to like come up with characters, and that's how like Usagi Yojimbo got in there, and some other characters too. So.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, I'm hoping. I would just assume like you said it. You guys were like banking on the cons, and then like it's just so like December 2019. Like obviously in retrospect, it's like oh no,
Yeah.
Like, hopefully you guys will have inventory for like 2022, which I hope we can get back to normal. with the cons there. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, we're pressing forward. If this we got plenty of product concepts we'd like to bring to Kickstarter. So this is kind of, we're hoping this first one goes off and it's like it'll be a way for us to just work directly with the fans and parents and things. So they could tell us what to make next,
Right. And not having the cons, it kind of becomes that platform, because and honestly, being longtime con goer, you can get the products you want without having to wait in that line at 6 a.m, without having to do all the craziness. And you just have to go to the Kickstarter. So everybody, the Kickstarter is online right now. Let me drop that in.
Yeah, that's right. I should do the shameless plug. www. Well, thank you.
there you go.
It's also for anybody listening. It's alternationkickstarter.com. It's the easy way to remember that.
Very nice.
And I'm going to keep dropping that link as we talk because I just want people to know that it's available right now. Like you can go on there right now today and back, and you'll see two of the big bads of this of the story, and they look great. They absolutely look great. So you need to go check it out. And if you're looking for alternations too, like you can go to Amazon and you can find them. You can go to the website for alternations and you can find them. You don't have an excuse. I mean, prime shipping.
Red frog.
We even started taking cryptocurrency for those you crypto nerds out there.
See, look at that.
Yeah. So
that's if you have enough of that doggy coin or Dogecoin or any of that.
Totally. Yeah. Got your Ethereum and whatever the other ones are. Anyway. But yeah. And also, I should mention the Kickstarter is going to be one of the few spots people will be able to get. We have a lot of variants and one-of-a-kind figures and things. And this will be like one of the few times we're offering them. So that was something we used to only do at conventions. Now you can get them on the Kickstarter.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So cool. Yeah, I have a million more questions, but
please
do it, Christian.
So, okay. I come from a toy background too. I worked at a toy company for the better part of the 2000s. We did like a bunch of like Simpsons stuff, like weird stuff. But your process, I'm assuming you guys are like doing everything in like 3D and then going to print. Like, so like how much of your process is digital? How much of it is traditional? Like after the print, are you guys like refining, making changes still?
Yeah, we did. And then, the other thing we would do is like, we didn't have all those contacts for a factory that we were, like, hey, we know this factory is good and that they will deliver well. So we ended up like having to make so many extra prototypes just for that factory to show us what they could do. And then, but as for digital versus traditional, it's all digital. As far as the sculpting, and then we'll reprint something if it's like critical and like, oh, we need to make sure we get this right. But there's been a lot of times where we're like, no, that's a minor change. Like just go straight to the thing, and it was fine. Go straight to the tooling. Right. Tooling, for people who don't know, that's when they actually make a mold out of metal, and that's what they inject plastic into to make a thing.
Yeah. No, when I was working at a toy company, this was back in like 2004. That's when printers were like the cost of like a Humvee. Like they were like huge. They were the size of ATM machines.
Well, we don't print them in our plate. Our printer is not like for that. But the factories we work with end up doing 3D prints that you wouldn't even be able to tell. Like they get it down to like micron.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Cool. Yeah.
So you worked for a company that did Simpsons. Was it Jax?
No. We did. We didn't actually. We weren't license holders. So what we did is we had like a catalog of like 3D models. So if you were a license holder, Fox made you go through us. We were called Atomic Monkey. Short-lived, man. Like 8 years, and then we sank back in 2009 from bad investments and stuff. But yeah, we did a lot of stuff with like Family Guy, Fox. We did prototypes for like. We did stuff for Disney too. We did a lot of like maquettes for like actual production maquettes for like animation. Really
nice.
weird. Yeah, weird stuff. But That was like a lifetime ago. So yeah, and it's old school. Yeah.
Well, everything before last year is a lifetime ago, I think.
Yeah, true.
Right, because last year was like 10 years, you know.
Yeah. 10 years and one. Cool.
But yeah, very exciting stuff, man. Definitely get on Kickstarter if you're not already supporting this.
Yeah, I guess one thing I didn't mention is the idea behind Alternation the Toys was that they were animal inspired. Well, they're soldiers created in a secret experiment by the military to mix animal DNA and human DNA. Only they don't know what their experiments, and that's kind of where the conflict is. But with the toys, so with that, we wanted all of the toys to reflect real world animal abilities, just like weird things animals can do. And so each of the toys has their own distinct play feature, like the chameleon could change colors, the electric eel lights up, stuff like that. It was important to us that we kept it all sort of science based and not just like X-Men or something where they have psychic powers or something totally made up stuff like he can control fire with, I don't know.
A gun that shoots Phoenix bullets.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. And yeah, each one of the original lineup, I mean, they are very distinct. And they're very cool. Let's see, what was his name? It's the guy with the spikes. There he is.
Kilroy.
Oh, Kilroy. Yeah.
He was the first one I opened up. And I mean, that is a beefy, detailed figure. Very cool features with the spikes on the back. And it just honestly amazed me. I remember I was at the comic shop out here in the desert, and I was like, I mean, look at this thing, you know? Like, I mean, it was so cool. Like, it was something you couldn't find on the shelves. And I was just, overjoyed by it. That one and Albert. Yeah. They were my first two that I popped open, and pleasantly surprised. They're top notch, and like Bean mentioned in the comments, the feature really does make them in here, and it makes them unique because, I mean, as a collector, I do love my ultra articulated figures, of course, but it's so cool to see. I mean, we have these that still have these awesome features that work. It's not like what did they say, like back in the day, Waffle Batman, that just has like whatever accessory they throw with him, and you click the back and he does something.
Tennis racket
all these,
Batman.
Right. Fear of God Batman, all those weird Batman variants.
Like that was, sorry if I go on a tangent, but like the Batmans always drove me crazy as a kid because you couldn't just get like plain Batman from the movie. It was always
what's wrong with Tech Shield
silver outfit or something. Yeah,
who doesn't want a gold Batman?
That's the one that I had, and I'm like, God,
I had the silver one, so at least you got gold,
There was like a tiger striped camo one. I'm like, just give me gray and black. God dang it.
Yep. Is it that hard?
There's only one character that kids wanted, so they're like, okay, let's make 10 of that character.
And Bob the Goon.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bob the Goon. Yeah. I think we got a question from Bean. Are you the brains behind each hybrid, or is there a group that decides as a group what animals should be combined?
That goes again back to the kid testing. We what did we do? I think I was the guy that came up with the basis, I should say. And I said, okay, well, I sort of just went on a website and saw like what kind of special abilities that animals have that humans don't, and I just mixed and matched them. And then I had concept artists come up with a sketch based on what I wrote. And then we tested those sketches with kids, and they picked the 6 you saw as their top favorite. So, and then we already knew we wanted a robot villain, so that was where Sabotage came from, and that was totally the concept artist. We didn't really give him much direction at all. So, and actually, the guy that wanted sorry, go ahead.
He looks really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we always. The only thing I did do a lot of directing with the concept artist to say, like, don't just copy kind of what's in the zeitgeist or the trends or anything like that. And if I saw them going that route, then I would push them like in another way. And that's how that exo arm came up on sabotages back. It was like, okay, that is just like it's a striking color against the blue, and it's just something different for his shape and something you don't see every day. So there was some other things too, like we mentioned Quilroy. Like we didn't want them to just be like cool looking characters. We wanted people to be able to see their personality just by looking at them. So and then also just be fun. So with Quilroy, we made he's the weightlifter and kind of the tough guy of the group. So he's got a weapon that's made out of his gym equipment. He's got his like Red Bull knockoff energy drink as an accessory, stuff like that. So yeah.
Good stuff.
I did have a lot of influence on a lot of that, but I do have to say the concept artist did most of the heavy lifting. So
Of all the toys that you guys have put out, which one's your favorite?
oh, of all of them, it changes all the time, to be honest. I guess as a character, I like Elray the best because he's just his whole MO is like integrity all the time. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I've always kind of also liked the leader in a lot of shows. Like Leonardo was always my favorite. So.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, I'm gonna drop this comment one more time in there with the Kickstarter link, so that way everybody has it. Make sure you check that out. It ends. How many days does it end, sir?
I think it ends at the end of the month, so I think we've got about 20 days left. Yeah.
There we go. So 20 days. Make sure you click over there, check it out. The price for the two figures is not bad at all when you think about what indie figures go for right now. So check it out. You won't be disappointed. They've already produced amazing figures, so you have nothing to worry about. This it's not an unknown coming into it, because I know sometimes you think Kickstarter, you're like, oh, they're going to take my money. I can tell you out of the 130 Kickstarters I've backed, 2 have welched on me and not delivered. Everybody else has.
2 went through. I was going to be like, that.
Oh no! Everybody else has been amazing. So please bid with, go in there with confidence. Back that with confidence. And like you said, there's a lot of things that are going on that Kickstarter. Yes, you have the 2 figures. You have different things on there as well. You have chances to get the different variants of the figures, different color weapons. So make sure you go check it out, and you'll be seeing a lot more spotlighting alternation as we move through the campaign, so that way people can see like, wow, yeah, I need to be a part of this.
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't realize how bad it was on Kickstarter. But yeah, this thing is ready to go. So we've got all the modeling done, all the testing done. The last thing that we'll test is just making sure that it passes safety, but that'll be nothing. Like that's easy. But basically, all the work is done, and it's just this last step of actually creating the molds and going into mass production. So, and yeah, if the money's there, it's not a problem at all. If the Kickstarter funds are there.
Awesome. Well, then everybody, you need to go over there, check it out, make sure and share it. Because if you're a fan of Pastrami Nation, you're a fan of action figures, so you want to go check it out anyway. And make sure you share it with all your all the groups and whatnot, because we want to see this happen. We want to see those 2 bad guys come to life. Yeah. I want to see how they measure up in comparison to like Dart and the other figures. So make sure we make that happen.
Do you want me to keep that a surprise? Or?
No, if you want, I would love to see comparison shots. That would be super cool.
Oh, well, okay. I don't have shots, but definitely Alpha is bigger. He's going to be our biggest character yet. So, and he's got these articulated wings. I don't. Yeah, it's going to be great. So
nice.
Oh, yeah, we need to make this happen, people. We do.
Yes.
So check it out at that link.
Yeah, and we are really counting on word of mouth more than anything. So it's great. You guys have a lot of action figure fans.
Oh, absolutely. We have fans, we have artists, we have people like Christian who have been in the game. As he sits in the room.
We need your social media. I'll look right in the camera. Bring us your social media following.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Any more questions for Ryan before we jump to the next topic?
Just one. So are you guys working on any more concepts for phase 3 or an extension of phase 2?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. We are working on concepts for Phase 3. We've got some characters that were shown in the Dark Horse comic at the end, and it'll be our first 2 female characters, 3 female characters, and also an aquatic character that will actually, his feature would be swimming. So, and we also want to do more with playsets and vehicles. We've got plans for that. I think we've got a concept for playsets that I think would revolutionize like the whole sort of industry around playsets. So I hope we get to do that. Even if we don't do it with alternation, we'll be bringing that out. So in some way or another. And then we also have, I'm alluding to, we have other concepts for other brands as well that I'd like to get out. Some vehicle, if you were a fan of Mask or Jason the Wheel Warriors, we have
Wheel
some
Warriors.
stuff like,
Wow.
yeah.
Sawbus.
We have some stuff that's like that, but it's the same kind of thing as alternation. It's like, if you love that, it's like this, but more modernized. So if He-Man is to alternation what this concept is to Jason the Wheeled Warriors or Mask. So.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, we can't wait to see what the future holds for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, the only way. So be sure to pledge so we can do all that stuff. And we'll do another Kickstarter and another Kickstarter for all these things.
Nice.
So, or not. Or
It
just
guarantees you the product.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well do it. You know, you go on there. It's a simple. If you've never done a Kickstarter, easy stuff. You just go on there, you pledge it. Once the campaign closes, if it reaches a funding goal, you get charged, and that's it. You know, there's no confusion involved, and yeah, make sure you do. Make sure we get this brought to life. And I see Jason Bean put, "OMG, I want playsets." Yep.
Yes.
We want you to have those
I know you
places.
do, Bean.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, again, make sure everybody go back it. We're about to transition to the next one, but Ryan, please stick around if you'd like.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna talk about Suicide Squad right now. But first, make sure drop those comments for a chance to win a Pastrami Nation sandwich from Apollo Burger in Victorville. And you have till Sunday. And I see we got some more people that have popped up. We have Rebecca, Heather. We have David Woodring. What's up, Woodring? So make sure you drop that comment, and let's go ahead and jump into the craziest movie that opened this weekend, The Suicide Squad. So we're going to talk spoilers. So if you're like, I don't want to hear spoilers, just put it on mute. Leave the video open so you can still see us. But
Put a star on your face so you can't hear it.
Just put a big alternation Kickstarter link.
Yeah, you can look at the alternations Kickstarter while you're listening to So, all right. So, what did everybody think? Initial thoughts if you saw it. What did you think of The Suicide Squad? Go.
Loved it.
Yeah, it's James Gunn gone wild, and I loved it. Every second of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me, well, I had to watch it twice, obviously, but yeah.
I was kind of like Kevin. I had to watch it a second time to kind of appreciate it a little more. I went in with huge expectations. It's like, it's getting 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone's loving it. And there was a few things that I was a little disappointed with after watching it, especially like with the trailer. The trailer spoiled quite a bit of the good parts of the movie. I was really like the gag where they're going to rescue Harley and then she already got out. They spent 20 minutes in the movie setting that up, and they already played out the gag in the trailer. So that stuck with me a little bit, but my other big disappointment was just Peter Capaldi. I love Peter Capaldi from Doctor Who, but it's like they didn't make his thinker intimidating. Like if you remember Clifford DeVoe on The Flash, he was terrifying. He was 25 steps ahead of everybody. And they could have plugged in Joe Random Scientist to do the same role. But I watched it again today just to kind of follow Kevin's advice. Kevin went and watched it again. I did the same thing. Once you kind of get over those kind of things, it's really fun. Those first 20 minutes were with the Team A on the beach with everything that happens with Weasel right away. And there's it's a lot more fun the second time for me. I don't know everybody else, but there is a lot of fun things in there.
So, if you don't know the premise of Suicide Squad, so there was a Suicide Squad movie that came out before, and it's about DC taking kind of your no good supervillains, and you're saying, I'm knocking 10 years off your sentence if you live through this mission. And that's the whole point of it. So the first movie happened, and it was okay.
I like the first movie happened, and that's all
it
we need
happened.
to say about it.
Well, there were some good parts of it, but I think the expectations were extremely high for when it came to the Suicide Squad, the second one, because you had a stacked roster. You are coming out of COVID. You are one of the first big, blockbuster movies to hit. Jungle Cruise hit and Black Widow hit, but then now Suicide Squad hit. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it because a lot of the classic comic elements came to life. We had Starro the Conqueror.
Yeah,
we had Starro. Yeah, just strolling down the street, and doing what he does and putting starfish on people's heads and making that weird noise when he shoots them out of his armpit.
The ultimate flying out of his armpit.
Yep, that. But Starro, if you're a DC fan, you're like, I know Starro. Everybody knows Starro if you're a fan. So, what was your favorite part out of Suicide Squad? Go.
So I'll start. So actually, mine was I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan as it is. So her breakout of that when she was locked up, I thought that was really cool. Like when she had the javelin and like it had all the the cartoon like flowers and like everything like popped up behind her, and it was like she was basically like she was in a comic book panel, and it looked incredible and it looked amazing, and I thought that to me was my favorite part. Yeah, that was my ultimate favorite part out of the whole thing. I loved it.
All right, who's next?
I'll go next.
Go for it.
When they just totally slaughter those people in the jungle,
yes.
And then she's like, "My friends are there," and then they're like, "Don't tell anybody."
Yeah, they were dead when we got here.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was awesome.
That was a really risky. They earned their R rating. You know what I mean? That's a risky joke and kind of a big lead up to get to it, and I think it really paid off because I saw it in my living room at at night, nice. And I was dying laughing watching that, so, especially that scene. Yeah.
No, same here. Actually, that was my funniest part was I was just gonna say that was the scene in the jungle, him and Bloodsport and John Cena going back and forth killing people, see who can do the better one, and then getting there and realizing, that's our friends. That wasn't in the trailer or anything, so that was set up perfectly, and that I couldn't stop laughing.
I'll say I loved. It was either the beginning of the third act, the end of the second act, the whole thing with Flag and Peacemaker. Their big fight. I think that was awesome. Here's the thing: Rick Flag sucked in the first movie. It was so boring.
Yeah. Yes.
He was forgettable. He was so badass in this movie. Thank you, James Gunn, for it's just goes to show if you put you can put anything in the hands of a good writer, and they can make it interesting. My girlfriend always complains that she's Fantastic Four is so lame. She hates Reed Richard, and she was who cares about a stretchy guy? And I'm he's the smartest man in the Marvel universe. You have to understand. And she was who cares? Ooh, he can stretch. And I'm but that's the thing. You could have made that same argument for Ant-Man. You know what I mean? But you put it in a competent writer's hands, and they can make it interesting. You could have said the same about Guardians. Same with Suicide Squad. Who would have thought that Polka Dot Man would have made such an awesome
right?
movie?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not about the necessarily to me the character. I think it's just who's what filmmaker are you putting are you giving it to? You know what I mean? And I think James is
it's a big part.
Yeah.
Right, because you're right. If you had given this, put this in somebody else's hands, they could have butchered it. This could have been a horrible movie. Yeah, you could have walked away thinking just put it down.
Yeah.
For me, being a big WWE guy, my favorite part, of course, is John Cena as Peacemaker, because and we could see him. But I think the biggest thing was he was playing the heel version of John Cena in the WWE. He was this cocky a-hole, and his snarky remarks and everything. And you're yeah, this is John Cena. They would come out rapping, talking crap about you while he's before he beats the crap out of you in the ring. You know, that, and then I mean, it's not like a big nothing happened in this moment really, but just to see King Shark grab that guy and rip him down the long way, like that, it was just like a comic panel. You're like, wow, like he just, and I know it wasn't, you know, significant or anything, but it was so cool to see. We do got some comments going. We have that movie was interesting. Weasel was hilarious. Bean said he wasn't a huge fan of it. It was just okay. But he was bothered by the thinker. And he loved that Pete Davidson lost his face.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that opening was...
That Weasel scene, man. That Weasel scene still cracks me up. I don't know why. It's just so like perfectly executed, and he like just belly flops on the water. Just cut to like Waller in the freaking thing, and you just see the video of him just like.
And everybody's just like, yeah, he can swim, right? And you're like, you almost want to cringe, but that's such a great moment because they put that tension there, and you're just like.
There were so many of those moments though in that movie where I was like, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but like it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, it was dark, but super funny and super well done.
Yeah. She's like, is he a werewolf? I always wanted to meet a werewolf.
He's like, oh no, he's not dangerous. I mean, yeah, he's killed like 24 children. That's so good.
Now, any dislikes that we haven't talked about yet?
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Christian.
I mean, okay, so it's not necessarily a dislike. I think it's more of an observation, and I think it's like we've got to state it right. Like the comparisons have to be drawn between this and Guardians, obviously, right? And like I love Guardians. I love both of the Guardians movies. Like, oh, cool. I didn't even know his piece now. I love both of the Guardians movies. Like the second watch of Guardians 2 for me had me in tears. Like the whole stuff with Yondu. Like, man. But I think, you know, like as much as I loved Suicide Squad, I don't like, and it shouldn't, you know, it's Suicide Squad, but it definitely, like, I think the difference between Suicide Squad and Guardians is the difference between like The Office and Parks and Rec to me. Like, I think, and that difference is hard, right? Like, I think the different, like Parks and Rec is like love, like they all care about each other and they all look out for each other, and The Office, not so much, right? So I kind of equate like Suicide Squad is The Office, right? And like, yeah, and Parks and Rec is like Guardians. Like my girlfriend said, she's like, I can still watch like Guardians over and over again. She's like, I don't know, as much as I love Suicide Squad, she doesn't know that she would sit down and watch it again. Which is fair. I mean, I would, because I fucking loved it. You know, like I get that. I mean, I think that's like a valid criticism for her to have. So
absolutely.
But yeah.